The list of horror westerns is short, and the list of good horror westerns is even shorter. Sure, there are genuine period pieces with heaping helpings of horror, like The Wind, The Burrowers, and of course Bone Tomahawk, and a few modern western terrors like John Carpenter's Vampires and Near Dark. It takes a mighty difficult concoction of various elements to make a good western, and even more to mix it in with the horror genre. The Pale Door is a western that is heavy on the horror. Let's see if this film rubs my rhubarb rightly. Welcome back to M.L. Miller Frights, a part of the Kings of Horror Network. I'm M.L. Miller. Before we begin, remember to give this video a like, share with your buddies across the electronic superhighway, click subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to ring that bell for notifications. Please get the word out to new folks so we can make this channel bigger and better. The Pale Door is new on-demand and digital download from RLJE Films and Shudder. When a group of no-good outlaws decide to rob a heavily guarded train car, they are expecting a large payday, even split between the 8 of them. But after the guns are holstered, they find a single locked treasure chest. Inside is not the riches they were expecting, but a young woman named Pearl, played by Natasha Bassett, who promises a large reward if she is returned to her home. But when the gunfighters arrive in a deserted town in the middle of nowhere, they find a coven of witches who feast on the flesh of the innocent, led by head witch Maria, played by Magnolia's Melora Waters. One of the gunfighters, Jake, played by 13 Reasons Why Devin Druid, is both a virgin and has never killed a man, a rare delicacy for the witches, who are the sole occupants of this ghost town the outlaws have found themselves in. First, the positives. This film stars some fantastic character actors that, if you have been paying attention to any horror in the last decade, you'll recognize and appreciate. Noah Segan from Starry Eyes and Scare Package provides some nice gallows humor to this swarthy group of gunfighters. Monster Squad and Snake Eyes actor Stan Shaw feels like a natural with the six-shooter and gives an elder statesman-like presence to the gang. Zachary Knighton from the Hitcher remake and Magnum P.I. offers up a convincing performance as Duncan, the leader of the gang. We Are What We Are's Bill Sage plays the badass and brooding gunslinger Dodd, and his chiseled and worn face make you believe he would be at home in any western. Cheap Thrills' Pat Healy is epically awesome in anything he's in. Here, he seems to be giving his all to lend his performance, as the gang's second-in-command, some gung-ho gravitas, as well as some much-needed humanity. Finally, Melora Waters is a bit mustache-twirly as the lead witch, Maria, but she seems to be having a ball playing a very evil character. All of these performances elevate The Pale Door, and seeing this cast of recognizables together and riffing off of one another is a true treat that makes up for a lot of the film's setbacks. I also think the concept of cowboys versus witches is a fun one that brought a smile to my face as soon as I heard about The Pale Door. It's one of those weird mixes that you never thought of mixing, but damn it if it doesn't sound like an awesome story. The way the witches look is also iconic and nicely realized. Some are natural beauties, but others are creepy burned husks that crawl on all fours across the ground and up and down the walls. As far as monsters go, these are truly nightmarish ones. Director Aaron B. Koontz not only was one of the highly talented filmmakers behind the gonzo horror anthology Scare Package, but also was responsible for the mind-shredding horror gem Camera Obscura from a few years back. Unfortunately, he feels out of his element in The Pale Door. The camera flits and cuts back and forth as the action goes on, but doesn't seem to be able to capture the terror or thrill of what is happening in a compelling or energetic way. There are plenty of shots that feel like they just don't take advantage of the acting, the Western atmosphere, and the setting. Westerns have a grand tradition of capturing the landscape of America utilizing wide-open shots to highlight the untamed lands the Cowboys once roamed. There's none of that grand-scale storytelling here. It really feels like The Pale Door needed a much bigger budget to tell the story it wanted to tell. And because this is a Western on a budget, shortcuts like only having fronts made to the buildings and only being able to make a few storefronts to suggest a much larger town than it appears have to be made. The problem is that it looks cheaply made, and Koontz isn't able to offer up that old-school movie illusionary skill to cover up for it. While I'm sure many towns were built on grassy fields, the short grass that covers this town's ground simply looks like it was made in someone's backyard ranch rather than anywhere authentic. While Westerns have been a staple of cinema since its inception, even when they're bad, they took advantage of the landscape, and that did a lot to make it feel like the viewer is being transported back to a simpler, rawer time. In The Pale Door, it really feels as if everything was filmed on a movie lot, and that hurts the film greatly. I haven't seen 13 Reasons Why, so I don't know if this is indicative of Devin Druid's talents. I don't know if Druid felt insecure among the other elder actors or what, but he just doesn't offer up a compelling performance as the lead. He's the youngest of the actors, and I'm sure he will make some great films in the future, but this isn't one of them. His performance lacks passion and energy. He simply looks out of place when sharing the screen with the other talented cast members, and takes what could be a compelling character and makes him forgettable. The script doesn't help. I feel another pass on the script would have strengthened the movie as a whole. Mixed with the off-time direction, many shots seem to be waiting for the actors to say their lines instead of trying to capture the performances as they play out. There's just an unnatural pace to the film, and this didn't sell the lead's plight to me in any way. The Pale Door just wasn't my huckleberry. Maybe the reason why there aren't that many Westerns, let alone horror Westerns, is that these days making things look authentic and capturing that grand scope of the Old West is harder and harder to do. I think The Pale Door has its moments. There's an especially unsettling scene in an upside-down church that makes me wish there were more scenes like that in this film. The Pale Door also serves as a showcase to a lot of talented genre actors, and it's always a treat to see them work. There are a lot of elements that promise a good Western horror in The Pale Door, but unfortunately, not enough came together for me to give it a recommendation. That'll be it for today. If you like this video, please pound that thumbs up button. Share this video with your social media addicted pals. If you're looking for written reviews, you can find them on mlmillerwrites.com. Don't forget about the new trade paperback for my comic book horror series GRAVETRANCERS, out in all of the finer comic shops on September 2nd. And be sure to subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for alerts to be the first to see my future videos. Thanks so much for your time, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're doomed. Oh, you're doomed. You're doomed. You're doomed. Live the life that you are meant to be. Live inside that